More applications with percents. Example 1, 22% of 38 is what number? So here, what we need to look at is we are trying to find what number out of 38, so the total is 38, would give us 22%. So when we set that up as a proportion, that's going to be x over 38. What number out of 38 is equal to 22%? 22% is 22 over 100. From here, we're going to be doing cross multiplication. So we're going to do 100 times x and 38 times 22. Then we're going to simplify, so that's going to be 100x equals 836. Then to solve this, last step is we need to move the 100, and we're going to divide both sides by 100. And when we do that, x is going to equal 8.36. Now, the nice thing about this is that we can check our answers. So if you want to check, you would take 8.36 and divide it by 38. And when you do that, that's equal to 0.22. And then to change that to a percentage, we're going to times it by 100, which equals 22%. So that tells us that we did example 1 correct. So the answer will be 8.36. Example 2, 12 is 80% of what number? So this is a little bit different because this time we are given that top number 12. We don't know what the total amount is. So 12 is 80% of what total amount? So to set that up, it's going to be 12 over x equals 80 over 100 because 80 over 100 is 80%. So we're going to do the same operation. We're going to do our cross multiplication. So we're going to do 100 times 12, and we're going to do 80 times x, and then we're going to simplify. That's going to equal 1200 equals 80x. And then to solve this last step, we need to divide both sides by 80. And so we're going to do 1200 divided by 80. X is going to equal 15. And if we want to check that, we would do 12 divided by 15, since 15 is going to be the denominator, the bottom, and 12 would be the numerator, the top. So 12 divided by 15, that equals 0.8. Then we're going to times that by 100 to change that to a percentage, which equals 80%. So that tells us that 15 is the correct answer. Example 3, what is 70% of 11? So of 11, that's the total amount. So we want to know what number out of 11 will give me 70%. So x over 11 equals 70 over 100 because that's 70%. Then we're going to cross multiply 100 times x, and then we're going to do 70 times 11, and then we're going to simplify 100x equals 770, and then we're going to divide both sides by 100, and then x is going to equal 7.7. And if we want to check, we would do 7.7 divided by 11. That's going to equal 0.7. Then we're going to times that by 100, and that will equal 70%. So that tells us that we did that correct. All right, let's look at example 4. It's a little bit more extensive. A student missed 9 problems on a history test and received a grade of 80%. If all the problems were of equal value, how many problems were on the test? Round off your answer to the nearest integer. So the first thing we need to ask ourselves is, if the student got 80% correct, what percent did they miss? So you would do 100% minus 80. That would equal 20%. That 20% is going to be necessary in order to solve our problem, since we are given the amount of problems that the student missed. So we know that they missed 9 problems, but we don't know out of how many, and we know that that equals 20%. So it's going to be 9 over x equals 20 over 100, because 20 over 100 is that 20%. And 9 is the amount of problems that they missed, but we don't know the total number of problems that were on the exam. Now we're going to do our cross multiplication. So we're going to do 100 times 9, and we're going to do 20 times x. So 100 times 9 is 900 equals 20x, and then we're going to divide both sides by 20. And so that means that x is going to equal 45 questions. So let's say we want to check this to see if we did this correct. We know that the student missed 9 questions. So we would take 45 minus 9 equals 36. So that would be how many questions that the student got correct. So to calculate their score on this history test, you would do 36 divided by 45, which equals 0.8, and then we're going to times that by 100 to get the percentage, which equals 80%. So that tells us that 45 questions is the correct number of problems on the test.